in over the past week for our tech expert, Manny Lowe. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to answer all of those questions and ask all those questions. Hopefully we'll have some fantastic answers for you. But without further ado, let's hand over to Manny Lowe. Manny, how are you doing today?
I'm very good, Ben. How are you? Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, thank you. So I understand that we've had some questions from our Me community. And in addition to that, I understand you've got a special surprise for us at the end of the presentation. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, exciting stuff. Really
great stuff. So without further ado, shall we crack on?
Yes, let's do this. Absolutely. Let me share my screen with everyone watching. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone out there for joining me. The plan of action today is to answer all your questions. So let's make a start. Question 1. Can you tell me more about MIUI 12? I certainly can. So before I tell you more details, I just want to explain what MIUI is. MIUI is our overlay that sits on top of Android. Each manufacturer that has Android have an overlay that sits on top of theirs as well, do different tricks similar to ours. Now, the good thing about ours, it offers a modern look with great animation. So what do I mean by great animation? Imagine that you're on the home screen. If you swipe down from the left-hand side, it brings down your notifications from WhatsApp to emails, etc. If you swipe on the right-hand side, it brings down your control center to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And what's also very exciting for me fans as well, we've now added an app drawer. So if you were to slide from the bottom up, it reveals all your apps which are categorized in order for you. So it couldn't be any easier. So imagine that you open any of the apps. As you open it, it flows gently and smoothly and evenly to the corners of the screen. So nice and easy. It offers a better user experience. But also, guys, what you also find is the fact it offers more details in terms of applications. So imagine that you've opened up an app. Say, for example, you go into the storage here. What you notice, it actually showcases exactly how much storage is taken up in the form of a cylinder. So it's really good in terms of visuals. What else? We've got some super wallpapers. I really get excited about this. It's something different that we brought to the table. And they're very dynamic as well. In fact, you have 6 different categories to pick from. And they have the space theme, as you can see from the picture on the right-hand side. Now, did you know you've got 29 different wallpapers in the 6 different categories, which are really cool. And the detail is very good. It's high resolution. So imagine that you're on the home screen. Imagine the home screen is on the right-hand side, the picture of the moon there, all right? So once you unlock it, it zooms automatically in for you, creating that great user experience once again. Okay, so a lot of people these days are doing a lot more on their devices, and they want a great screen to view on as well. And we thought about this, which is why we've added the floating windows. So I'm going to draw everyone's attention to the picture on the left-hand side, which has got the 4 tabs open. So you can see this person here has been using the remote control to control the TV using infrared. He's also been accessing games. Alongside that, he's been accessing Google Drive. And I'm sure he's got Xiaomi products as well, because he's got the Xiaomi Home app on the bottom left-hand corner. So to actually separate the apps, once you open the tab, if you look at the middle picture here, what you notice is you've got all the tabs listed at the top to all the different applications. Once you tap it, you can then go to the home screen, which is the 3rd picture on your top right-hand corner. You probably see that there, highlighted in blue. You can then resize it and move it wherever you want to go. Just a lot easier. And you can also adjust the contrast to suit the environment you're in. What do I mean by that? Imagine you're indoors reading a text message. Next minute, you're outside in the sun watching a movie. Okay, you can adjust it to suit the environment that you're in as well. And you've got dark mode. And what dark mode does, it puts a black screen and the text is highlighted a lot easier and a lot clearer. But also it's great at saving power on your phone as well. So 2 other features I want to highlight. One of them is called Second Space. And how Second Space works, it allows you to create 2 different user profiles. So for me, I've got 2 kids. Imagine I've created a user profile for myself, for my work. I've got my messages, emails, etc. My PIN code is 4 1s, for example. My children have their own account where they tap 4 2s, and they've got their games in their section. It's almost like guest user on a laptop PC, but it keeps everything separate. Very useful and part of the MIUI overlay. And people use the phone quite a lot. People that are always on social media, you would love to know we've got an app as well called Dual Apps. So what Dual Apps allows you to do is to have 2 different profiles for, say, Facebook and WhatsApp. So why is that important? We'll have busy lives, and sometimes you haven't got time to log in every single time to each different account. So what you can do, you can have a Facebook account for work, one for personal, and the same for WhatsApp as well. So very useful. So we'll move on to the next one. Question 2. Will the Mi 10 Lite 5G launch in the UK? It's a great question. I'm excited about the launch as well. And the answer is yes, it will. It's going to be around July time. So look out, it's a great product. But I'm sure you'd like a sneak peek, right, of what the product can do, which I'll give you that straight away. So the Mi 10 Lite 5G, the key marketing message is lights, camera, and action. What does that mean? I'll explain more as I run through the presentation. So first of all is the design. So design is very, very important because it grabs people's attention. It's the first thing you see, and it doesn't matter what you're buying in the market. You've got the 3D curved design on here. So if you look at these 3 pictures all lined up, you can see the smooth edges, okay, the side view there in the middle picture. And also if you look at the picture on the right, even the bottom is curved. And you've got the glossy back. All of these attributes are making it easy for one-handed use. It makes it a lot more comfortable to use as well. And you've got Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back of the Mi 10 Lite. So we're protecting it all the way through. So I also want to point out, we've got the latest charge type as well. It's Type C at the bottom of the device. And it supports 20-watt fast charging. Now, this is actually very important for our Mi fans. They're always going to be on the move. They haven't got time to stop and keep charging the phone. So it keeps up with their lifestyle. Battery. Battery is important to all of us. As I mentioned earlier, we're doing a lot more on our smartphones. You have one phone that keep up, and it definitely does that. We've got a 4,160 milliamp battery. Now, it's okay saying the figure. People might say, well, how long does it actually give me? You're looking up to 2 days of use, which is very respectable for this smartphone. Now, people are controlling different media devices on their phone, right? We've got infrared blaster on here as well. If you think about it, most of the time people tend to have the phone beside them, whether you're downstairs in the living room, whether you're upstairs in the bedroom. You can easily control different appliances using infrared. So whether it's an air conditioning unit, or maybe it's your TV, it's a lot easier, and it's normally beside you most of the time. And you've got multifunctional NFC. So it's easier to obviously transfer information from one phone to another phone. But also you can set the NFC tags. So for example, I can have a tag where I walk into the house from work, tap it, and automatically my phone connects to Wi-Fi. Job done. But you can program to what you want them to do. So some really cool features to jump off with the Mi 10 Lite. Let's talk about the display. I mentioned people are doing a lot more, and people are spending averaging around 4.5 hours a day using screens, which is why we're boasting a 6.57 AMOLED true color display as well. Now, the aspect ratio is 20:9. So it means the screen stretches right to the corners, right to the edges, which is important because people, as mentioned, are doing more on their phones when you're watching movies, to playing games. You can really get immersed in that experience. And you've got a higher contrast ratio of 86,000 to 1. So you've got vivid detail, true to nature color as well. And you've got 600 nits in terms of brightness. So people may ask the question, well, what's brightness? Yeah, what's nits? So nit is a measure of brightness. Okay, the brighter, the better, the more detail it offers. And also has built-in fingerprint sensor, which is located at the bottom of the Mi 10 Lite. So again, perfect positioning. If you're left or right-handed, no problem, easier to use. Okay, so you have front and rear cameras. I want to point out you've got 48 megapixels, the main primary sensor. Okay, now this sensor, yes, captures great detail in photographs, but also is great at low light photography as well. So it has different features there. Alongside that, you've got the 8 megapixel ultra wide angle. Now, this lens works very, very closely with the 48 megapixel one to help capture wider shots. In fact, the 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens reaches up to 120 degrees as well. So really good wide angle. Now, you've also got dual 2 megapixel lenses on there. One is for portrait, one is for macro. So with macro, you can go up to 2 centimeters away from the subject, but it still keeps the detail and quality that you're looking for as well. And you've got some portrait shots, which I'll share a bit later on in the presentation, of just how good these shots are and how professional they look as well. And the front-facing camera, let's not forget that, 16 megapixel. And what's really cool about it is you've got 120 frames per second, super slow motion recording as well. And this is really important. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the images that Mi 10 Lite gives you in terms of the cameras, 48 megapixel. Zoom in now, you can see the details and definitions are still retained, even though I've gone a little bit closer to this remarkable building. Even if you look at the sides, you can still see the detail all the way through. I love this picture here. This picture here shows ultra wide angle. It's actually quite an interesting photo because a lot of people, when they're taking pictures, will take pictures of groups of friends or family or buildings on the outside. So it's actually quite nice to have a picture inside and it's actually looking up. So if I pan back a little bit, there you go. You can see for yourself here just how much it captures in that shot. But also people that are taking pictures rather than using panorama, which may take some time doing it and takes time to stitch it, it's easier to take one shot where you capture a lot more. Okay, so I mentioned about the macro lens as well and how close you can get to subjects. I mentioned 2 centimeters away, which is obviously very, very close. So if you look at these two pictures here, the first picture in the bottom left-hand corner, the slice of lemon, you can see the streaks there, yeah? You can still see the details and definition of each bubble. And similar to the right as well, if you look at the right picture, but look towards the bottom of the lemon, you can still see the details of those bubbles there as well. So even in different lighting effects, it still captures that information. Okay, so mention that portrait mode. I just want to showcase some pictures here of just how good it is. So if you look at the picture on the left-hand side, you can see this lovely lady there in red there, and you can see the car bonnet, which I want to draw everyone's attention to right now. Now, if you look just beyond the lady's arm, you can see it's got a gradual blur to the picture. It's not like the lady's in focus and the blur is really intense. It's a gradual soft blur, which actually, again, adds a professional looking photo. And the picture on the right, if you look into the mirror, you can see in the background there, it's a soft blur again. So different types of scenarios, it still shows a great photo. Okay, so we've got some great features on there. We need to have great performance, right? And you've definitely got that with the Mi 10 Lite. So the processor itself is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G. Okay, and in terms of things it brings to the table, includes many improvements. One, to the central processing units, increased by 10%. For gamers, you'd be happy to know the graphics processing units increased by 40%, and AI also by 100%. And it's actually quite important when people are taking pictures, how scene recognition works by recognizing the subject and changing those modes automatically for you as well. So it couldn't be any easier to take the perfect photo. And the good thing about AI as well, it also helps and improves the power management as well. So you can carry on using it as you normally would and not having to worry about power saving. Okay, so we talked about quite a lot with the Mi 10 Lite there. We talked about the benefits of the display. I mentioned displays are getting bigger because people are doing a lot more on them as well. We mentioned aspect ratio is ideal if you're watching movies and gaming as well. And the contrast ratio, which shows you natural colors on the screen, which is very important for gamers. It gives that real life effect to the game. And we talked about the brightness as well, being 600 nits, which is very, very bright. And it's protected with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 as well. And we touched on the processor being optical. You've got 2.4 gigahertz as the bigger engines. Then you've got other power efficient cores alongside that as well. Now, the battery mentions important to a lot of people out there. It's a 4,160 milliamp, and I mentioned about the supporting fast charging as well. And the rear cameras, we mentioned the fact that we have now a lens for every situation and scenario, which is easy for everyone. We touched on the front-facing camera as well, being 16 megapixel. Okay, so question 3. What are some of the best features on the Redmi Note 9 series? This is a really good question, actually, and this handset just as excited as the Mi 10 Lite as well. So let's take a deep dive look at some of the key features. So I want to talk to you about experience before I do this, okay? So experience is important to our Mi fans. Look at it this way. Imagine that you buy a mini projector. You buy it maybe because of the size, the style, but also you want a great quality, which leads to a great experience. Or maybe you buy a Xiaomi 9 box. Okay, you buy it because it's a perfect size, but also easy to navigate around as well, a smooth ride. We're going to a bigger thing. Maybe you buy a sports car. You buy it because it's comfortable. You want a cool, chunky steering wheel. You want red leather seats around you. And you also buy it for the speed. You buy it for the performance again. You buy it for the experience. So the link is this. The Redmi Note 9 Pro, it offers the ultimate flagship level experience in the mid-range segment. So let's take a look at the other cool features, starting with the screen. So the screen, you've got great viewing angles. It's a 6.67 dot drop display. Again, 91% screen to body ratio. People don't want too much bezels around phones. It's nice you've got more screen space on here as well. Brightness, again, 450 nits. And you'd be glad to know that the screen has been certified by a German company called TUV Rheinland, who filter the blue light and make sure the screen is safe for everyone to use. Okay, spatial design is important, yeah? And even on this product as well, you've got a smaller notch. And we talk about people using the phone more, it actually makes more sense. It's less intrusive, and you've got the symmetrical design on here as well, which makes it easy and comfortable for everyone. So the side fingerprint sensor, this is very, very important, okay? Now, when you pick the phone up, it's easy, you're automatically in the right position as well. It's very convenient, which means you can unlock the phone a lot quicker. But also I want to highlight, it doubles up as the power key as well. And also, no finger unlocks on the screen. So there's benefits there. Okay, so the camera itself ramped it up to 64 megapixel quad cameras. So the main sensor, again, this is your primary lens, has got 4-in-1 super pixels. That means 4 pixels are combined into one for better detailed photos. And again, it's got really good aperture on here. It's f1.89. So the lower the number in aperture, the better the picture is. Yeah, the more light can filter in to give you better low light photography. And you've got the depth sensor at 2 megapixel there. Alongside that, you've got the macro camera, which this time is 5 megapixel. Again, you still got up to 2 centimeters away. And you've got the ultra wide angle, which is 8 megapixel, with a field of view of 190 degrees. Okay, so you've also got a large image sensor. Now this image sensor, the larger the surface, the more light it can capture, which means great low light photography. And it definitely ticks the box in low light. Okay, you can also shoot in RAW. So if everyone looks at this picture here, you might look and think, yeah, it looks really, really good, which it does. But if you look at the colors now, I want to highlight how it looks. Some people might say, well, yeah, it looks kind of orangey, blue and green, I can see on the screen. But I want to draw everyone's attention to the guy's glasses on there and also the writing on the surfboard. So have a look at it now. You can see the glasses looked orange, actually they're red. And the writing on the surfboard is a lot more clearer. So when you shoot in RAW, you can actually edit as well. It's like giving a painter more colors, which get photos like this absolutely amazing. Okay, so with the camera, I want to highlight you've got 238 different types of scenarios that it will recognize. And how it compares to the rest of the family series, being the Redmi Note 9 series, will include the 5-megapixel macro lens, which the other one's 2 megapixel, and the primary lens being 64 as well. So I also want to highlight the 16 megapixel front facing camera. Okay, so first thing to talk about is the design of how the camera is placed into the phone itself. So it's flush into the phone. You don't really notice unless you really look at it, yeah? And also it mentioned it supports 120 frames per second recording. So lots of fun is had, even when you're by yourself and taking those pictures and videos as well. And we've even got AI scene recognition mode on the front-facing camera. I think that's quite important because a lot of people tend to focus on the rear cameras. You can now share your experiences even on the front-facing camera as well. And you've got portrait selfie. So we talk about how it blurs the background out on the rear cameras. You can do the same even on the front-facing camera as well. Now, did you all know that 90 million photos are taken every single day and posted onto Instagram? So 10 selfies are posted every 10 seconds. That's a big number. I also want to highlight, if people are taking loads of pictures, it'd be nice to take it in a convenient way, which you can do. You've got palm shutter on there. So you can show the phone the palm of your hand. It does a 3, 2, 1 countdown. It then takes a photo for you. So it's easy to capture that perfect shot. And also want to highlight, you've also got Kaleidoscope as a really cool feature of ours, which allows you, if you're recording buildings, to be merged together, and the same for people as well. You've got 6 different types of scenarios that you can pick to have different effects. Again, being more creative. Okay, have a look at this video here. This person's zooming in using the bar on the right-hand side, as you can see. Now, the reason I'm talking about this new video as well, when people are recording videos, imagine I'm recording a video of my family at the beach, but I spot something further out at sea I want to focus on. It's sometimes hard to showcase that in a video. But by having smooth video zoom, it makes it a lot easier to really pinpoint what the focus is and what you're highlighting in that video. And it goes up to ×6 as well, which is very close. Okay, so you've also got auto exposure and auto focus lock as well. So this person recording the video has locked it on the building, as you can see there. And also they've moved the bar across, as you can see, and adjusting the lighting in the background. Why is it important to have the settings to do this? The environment is always changing. So if I'm recording the building and looking up as this person is doing here, it could get cloudy all of a sudden. It could start raining. So it's nice to have all the options to edit as you see fit for each different type of scenario. Okay, so we talk about the processing power. Again, we've got the Snapdragon processor, the 720G as well, which has got low power consumption. And also it's very, very quick. You've got the optical processors yet again, and 2.3 gigahertz for the bigger cores as well. People that are gaming, you'll be glad to know, it's got high dynamic range mobile gaming. So everything looks a lot more realistic in terms of colors as well. And you've got accelerated on-device AI, which helps with scene recognition, but also helps with face unlocking as well. Okay, so if you take away anything from the processing presentation, it's simply this. It's blazing fast performance. It's very efficient at what it does. And again, a very powerful device. So you can see benchmark alongside the competition, we're doing really, really well. Okay, so in comparison, you can see here of the rest of the family series Redmi Note 9, the key differences between the 9S and 9 Pro is the screen size. The camera does change when you get to the bigger brother being the Pro. And also, if you compare the 9S and 9 Pro to the Note 9, you can see it's a different type of processor. So there's been many questions asked in the forum about how you take the perfect photo. The answer to that is by simply going to the camera module and tapping AI mode, and that will do all the work for you. The professionals out there that want to go into pro mode, yes, you've got the option to do that and even edit them as we discussed as well. So let's move on. Question 3. Is it worth getting the Mi Scooter Pro? I definitely think it is. And a couple of reasons why that's the case. Okay, so let's let the journey unfold. So again, a really nice design scooter. We've gone for the minimalist look, and I think this is actually quite important. If we put too much on the scooters, it may confuse some people. So go for the simplicity, and also comfort is a kind of key feature on these bikes. Okay, so again, it's very, very lightweight, and this is ideal. Imagine that I've gone into London to see my friends, gone to the park. I could easily carry this with me from the tube and route it to the park as well. And it's very lightweight, 26.9 pounds as well, and also very easy to carry around with you. Okay, you've also got the braking system as well. Now, I want to highlight, you've got double braking system in place here. Okay, you've got the front and the back tires as well. Compared to the competition, they normally have just one or the other. So it's very efficient, which is very, very important. Imagine that you're driving along, you need to stop very, very suddenly. It's glad that you can stop in 131 feet as well. But also a clever feature is each time you stop, the energy lost is reused again back into the bike. It's actually known as the EABS, Regenerative Anti-Lock Braking System. So really important. Okay, you've also got large tires on here, which adds to the comfort and ride as well. The size of them is 8.5 inches. And you've also got shock absorption and anti-slip treads as well for your safety. And the good thing about the brushless DC motor is it has a slow output of energy as well. So if you are on it, it will do a gradual increase, not just a sudden increase. So again, very good. Okay, now the controls, very, very important, right? So if you look at the handle on the top right-hand side there, you've got the anti-slip handle. This is very, very important because people are using these scooters in different types of environments. If it's slightly raining, no problem at all, you have full control of the scooter. And you've got the controlled acceleration as we touched on as well. Now the battery life notification lights at the top, which is linked to the app, which is easier to actually see when it's running low and when you need to charge it by the Xiaomi app. And also you've got the power button controls on here. So you can do two things of it. Number one, you can control the lights, which we'll get to in just a second. Number two, you've got the power saving modes as well, which is very important. If you're doing long journeys, you can change the mode that you want to do for the journey that you're making. Okay, so you also got the ultra bright headlight as well. It's 1.1 watt, which is very, very bright. The range of it is very respectable. You look around 6 meters as well. It's a very, very powerful light. Okay, so you've got the battery also hidden away in the middle of the scooter. So very, very important. It's designed around it. But again, it still adds comfort on the pedal that you step on as well. So you've got 1,860 high capacity lithium batteries in place. And the range-wise is 18.6 miles off one single charge. So how does it compare, I'm going to say to the competition, but also how does it compare alongside the Pro? So you can see here listed, you focus on our devices at the moment there, our scooters. On the right, you can see power output a little bit more. They both can connect via the app, but also you can see here they both got regenerative braking system as well. And the Pro has got a longer range to it. So it really depends what you want from the scooter, depending on what you go for as well. Okay, so this kind of brings us to the close where I want to highlight a very special offer that's happening, the Father's Day sale on mi.com. Okay, please, please, please have a look at this because we've got the Redmi Note 9 and the Poco F2 Pro available. Now, the voucher code, as you can see, is Redmi Note 9. You get £10 taken off, and the Poco F2 Pro, you get £20 taken off as well. This is valid from tomorrow, so please, please, please go and have a look and see what you think. Excellent. That brings us to a close there.
Hi, Manny.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, fantastic. Can you hear me? How are you doing?
I can hear you indeed. I can hear you indeed. Thank you so much for taking time to chat to us today about all of those different products.
No problem at all.
And answering the questions from the Mi community. Obviously, we couldn't get through to all of the questions that were asked. We had loads when we posted the thread up last week, and we hope to answer a few more. We've certainly kind of had a few more in our kind of little comment section. So I think that we've had some great ones. So big thank you to Stuart Brennan. Big thank you to Spider. Big thank you to Peter. And everybody really who's taken part in the stream today. Don't forget that you can get a discount on the Redmi Note 9 and the Poco F2 Pro tomorrow. So make sure you make a note of the voucher code. It's Redmi N9, all one word, to get £10 off of the Redmi Note 9. And for £20 off of the Poco F2 Pro, all you need to do is at checkout, go to type in Poco F2 Pro, all one word, and you will then get a lovely little discount in addition to some of our other treats that we've got. So I would recommend checking that out. I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody for taking part today. I hope you're all staying safe out there. And I certainly wish you all the very best. And we hope to see you very soon. So take care, everybody, and speak soon. Thank you very much for your time, Manny.